What's up, everybody?
Listen,
Welcome back to another podcast.
all I'm saying is that if it's scripted, then no one's gonna freaking want to listen to that.
Like 9/11.
It doesn't have to be exactly like. Oh well, it's gotta be. You gotta say this word right here and there, but it can't
Oh,
also.
there's one thing I'm gonna have a tism about.
What?
Charlie, probably try not to do the
Well,
bum 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 bum
It's
bum
not
bum
even
bum
your
bum bum bum.
podcast.
oh,
Not
No,
even your
because it's the same
podcast.
thing.
Not
Because
even-
I could.
Okay,
know-
that's your
okay.
tism, you little man. Listen, this is my podcast. It's my
I'm just trying
podcast.
to make
Okay.
trying to make it the best for you.
You want to know what's the best? Not fucking irritating me.
Backseat podcasting.
Anyways, welcome everyone to episode 4 of Within the Flesh. We got Benkilla back. We still don't know if he went back to that child he ran over and properly got them the attention they needed, but I'm gonna guess not.
I would never.
We got Charlie on here. Charlie is he is the current record holder for the most olives put in her mouth. Be crazy. Go ahead and introduce yourselves. Maybe you can disprove those things that I just introduced. Those opinions, those facts. Are those facts? What's going on? Who are you people? What are you doing in my home?
go on, Ben, take it away.
I speedrun time splitters. I speedrun time splitters, and I also speedrun time splitters. That's about it.
Wow, that's so epic. What about you, Charlie? What's your whole deal? Who are you? What's up with you?
Oh my god, hello everybody. No, I'm kidding. Hello, I'm Charlie. I am from Wales. I don't do a lot, but I'm pretty chill. So yeah, I guess we're gonna do a deep dive. So I don't have anything interesting to say right now, but maybe I will in a few.
Okay, so why did you kill your cat at such a young age?
I mean, earlier my mum came running in my room to say that she thought my cat was dead, so it was nothing to do with me, but
Was he actually dead?
no, he was sleeping.
Oh, do you wish he
I
was
was
dead?
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
love
was like-
him.
I was like a child once, and I was playing outside with a cat, and we were playing like hide and seek, like peekaboo, and I had a bucket, like a 5-gallon bucket. So I took the bucket and I put it over the cat, to cover the cat, and then I got called inside. So I went inside and I went to go eat dinner, and I kind of forgot. So about 2 days later, I saw the bucket, and then I went, "Oh shit!" And then the cat was dead.
That's
It's actually a true story.
That's a true
Um,
story, but not my story.
I was gonna say, cause what was it? I've heard Sam talk about that as well. I think you both.
That's
that,
You both.
That was a
It's
Wings of
happened.
Redemption story.
but
Was
it
it?
actually happened.
Oh yeah, no wait, you're right. It is Wings of Redemption. It's from a content creator from Wings of Redemption.
Yeah.
All right, because I was gonna go into something like I don't really tell people. It's probably thinking fucking like serial killer or something in the making. But like I used to have like a hamster,
Yeah.
and I used to enjoy like inflicting minor cruelties onto it. Like I used to put her in a ball. It's like this ball that like plastic see-through ball that they can like run around in.
Yeah.
And I used to like spin her around until like she shit herself because I thought it was hilarious. And I used to ever so slightly sometimes accidentally push her ball from the top of the stairs and watch it bounce down.
Really had to put a whole lot of hello-y words in front of that before you said what you did, huh? You're like,
Actually,
well,
a
I
fucking maniac.
accidentally, probably, maybe not really, didn't even do it purposefully.
It,
Pushed it
it
down the
was like,
stairs and let it fucking roll around in this ball till it died.
you know when you're in like the supermarket and you have those like really horrible like inner thoughts that you're like, oh my god, I need to be locked away. Like I saw a pregnant woman once and I had like a trolley and I was like, oh, imagine if I just went bam into like her belly. Like it's so fucked up, but like I just sometimes have these like really intrusive thoughts that I'm like, oh my god, I need to be locked away. There's something like seriously like demented. But I think when I was a kid, I didn't know how to like filter them out. So I was like, oh, I should do this. I should push my hamster down the stairs and see what happens. Like, yeah.
I,
Honestly, I don't know. Everything points to me basically being a psychopath, and I should have, potentially become a serial killer, but I haven't, as far as
Yeah, send
anyone's
help.
aware.
well, I think everyone has those kind of thoughts. It's like I don't know. I have those thoughts sometimes. I'm like, what if I just went freaking crazy right now? You know?
Yeah, like you're in the car or something. You're like, what if I just undid my seatbelt and like opened the door and like jumped out?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have those thoughts, but I'm like, what if I just hit that person right now? Like, just ran away and didn't do anything about it.
I don't know about any of that. You just actually do sound like psychopaths. like
I mean, it's not like a thing that you would actually do. It's just like a passing thought. It's like you're just kind of
Yeah,
driving along the side of the road, and there's an old
yeah.
lady. I could just hit
some
her, and
point.
no one will know.
Yeah, it's like when I was learning to drive, I was like, there's nothing to stop me right now from just going like GTA on everybody, like running all over the people on the
Oh,
pavement
yeah.
and
I don't
like
know about that. What the fuck's wrong with you both? My
It's
thoughts
not
are,
something you would ever
my
do.
thoughts
It's
are,
not something you ever do.
yeah, but mine's like more of self-preservation. Like I went fucking hiking once, and I got near the edge, and I'm like, I wonder what would happen if I just fucking fell. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? It's like, I'm not like if there's someone coming across the street or something like that. I'm not like, I wonder what would happen if I just kind of just shoved them into traffic. I'm like, what if they shoved me into the traffic? That'd fucking suck. You guys are like, what? Like you guys are the opposite person on the street. I'm walking on the sidewalk and I'm like, I hope that person doesn't try and fucking push me into the traffic. And you guys are like, I wonder what would happen if I push that guy into traffic.
haven't you ever thought about like how you'd commit like the perfect murder and like get away with it? Like have you never had that thought? Like when you're watching like Criminal Minds or something, you're like, amateur, I would do it better.
I watched
Do you know?
them and they're like, I don't know. I'd just be like, okay, I'm just gonna go banana wild and just do all this shit and then just turn myself in. No one gets away with it. And when they do, it's like 50 years later, we found DNA and we tested it and it came back to this person. They were finally caught. It's like, okay, I don't know.
I don't think I could ever get away with it because my hair gets everywhere. So like, I would definitely leave like my strands of hair everywhere,
You
and they'll
just
be like,
you
You
just
gotta
gotta
wear a
go
hairnet.
bald. Go bald.
No, you gotta
No,
wear a
go bald.
hairnet, gloves.
It
Always
should
wear gloves.
it should also be stated on the podcast for sake of you know, being absolutely clear. The you both are in a relationship, correct?
correct.
As far as I'm aware, yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like I should preference that on the podcast. Just let people know.
Why are we gonna be like the next like Fred West and Rosemary West or something with our inner deep dark thoughts?
It's just when later in the podcast you both start to bully me, uh people can be like,
Oh,
"Oh shit. What
We'll end
a
up on a that chapter
what a
YouTube
good
video.
what a good relationship. They're both bullying this young man."
Oh, my face is bleeding.
Any reason for that?
Yeah, I had like a fucking pimple or something. I was picking at it.
Why do you still
well,
get
that could be
pimples?
why. Oh, I do,
Why do you both still get pimples?
because
Well, all she drinks is soda.
I did just
pop.
hear a soda in the background.
That's
My
probably the
bad.
Malibu.
Yeah.
I have like the reverse where I don't get pimples on my face. I get them on like my body, and I don't know why. I
It's just
clean
natural. It's not to do with being clean. It's to do with sebum production, and sometimes
semen
it gets
production.
clogged.
I know
No,
you were gonna say that.
Yeah,
I knew you were gonna say
sebum.
that.
Sebum.
sebum.
See
Yeah,
bum,
sebum production, and
bum.
it's like sometimes the pores just get clogged. And it's nothing really you've done. It's not necessarily something you've eaten. It's just a natural thing.
Do
It can
you
get like clogged with sweat and things.
do you both view yourself as healthy human beings?
No,
No,
I'm no. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like the most unhealthy, but I'm definitely not up there.
I
I
don't.
try to eat my vegetables every now and then, but just it makes me miserable every single day. I barely drink water because I can't stand the taste. I
That's like some
know.
psychopath shit. I don't understand how you can't drink water.
I
Like
can. I just choose
I
not to.
love water. Water is the best thing ever besides alcohol.
Didn't
But
ask.
my eating habits are probably not helping me. But I don't know.
I think
I
I think in terms of diet, my diet is better than yours, but like I also drink a lot less than you. But you also like compensate where like you drink a lot of water and perhaps you don't intake as much of certain foods as I do because I eat a lot more than you. I might eat better things than you, but I overindulge in calories and then, I'm always drinking pop. I might not be drinking alcohol, but soda for an American audience. But and you're also way more active than I am. I like the most activity I get is like going to see if there's any food has randomly appeared in the fridge since I last checked.
that's just like Justy.
It's me. Hello. I
I always think like I might have missed something. And maybe it's spectacularly going to appear that it wasn't there earlier.
It's either you kind of hope that you get the energy to go and cook food, or that you notice like, oh, that's a peanut butter jar. I could just take a spoon to that and eat that, you know?
Yeah, it's like something you maybe didn't feel like earlier suddenly becomes like really appealing to you because you're just at that point where like could cook or could eat like 3 pieces of ham out of the packet.
Could I toast 2 pieces of bread and just eat that? Just heated bread, you know?
And then you talk shit when I have a fucking bowl of shredded cheese.
Oh yeah, but that's not normal.
Well, what do you mean? It's the same thing as that.
Not really. Like
I
I
get,
love
yeah, it's
Well, let's
taking the first thing
compare.
you see out the fridge and putting it in a bowl and eating it.
Well, what do
It's
you
no.
healthy.
what's your thing, Charlie? Like what's your closest you would say to cheese bowl moment?
I mean, okay, I do occasionally take, well, not a nibble out of the cheese, but I break a bit of cheese off, have a bite. But like, it's not like any. Hang on, my mom's coming in.
Well, what about
Just mute.
before the podcast? You were just kind of eating olives.
Oh, thank you. I don't want to have to. Sorry, my mom just come in trying to give me a piece of ham that she just took out of her mouth and was like, "Oh, you want it?" Like, no, no, thank you.
You could have it.
I'm really like nefarious for just finding something random, like I don't know, like a bit of meat that's been in the like fridge, and I'll just like eat that. My mom goes mad. She's like, "Why didn't you put it in a sandwich or something?" It's like because I'm too lazy and I don't want a sandwich. Honey, I just want to eat this ham right now, or I'll just eat a tomato, or like I don't know, just nibble a bit of cheese. Like
I would never
I'm,
just straight up eat a tomato. Like maybe like the tiny baby tomatoes.
if you
But
put a little bit of salt on it, it's just like
I
bon
mean, yeah,
appetit.
I could do that with like a potato, like a
What?
microwave potato.
Oh,
Just throw
I
some
thought you
salt
meant
on
like
it.
I thought you meant like a raw potato. You were just
No,
like,
no,
let
no,
me just
no,
take my raw potato, put a little bit of salt on it.
no, not that nuts.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past you.
Hey, that's fucked up.
He eats moldy food. Or
Okay,
like,
no, that's just out of
well,
pocket. That's cap.
okay, he ate pickles from like 2003 or something, not so long back, and he was like, "Oh, I wonder why my belly hurts. Maybe because you you ate something that's almost the same age as your brother."
Did I die though? Did I go to the hospital? No,
I
I was
mean,
perfectly fine.
you wouldn't go to the hospital anyway. You'd be like, "Oh, money, rather die."
Well,
It's
yeah,
true.
I'd rather die. I'd rather fucking die than go to the hospital.
Charlie, what do you think
Hmm?
of Bin's hot sauce obsession?
Oh my god, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, you can't. How can you even taste your food anymore when all you can just taste is burn? Why is everything gonna taste like burn?
Yeah, but that's the problem. You don't have that kind of palate that I have. I could taste the food, and I could also taste the heat.
You don't have that
Yeah,
kind
and
of
then you
palate.
can also feel when you shit yourself, like in the next few
Oh
hours.
well,
Like,
that's later me problem.
I don't. I'm not a person who enjoys like spice. Like, I can handle like a tiny bit of like cayenne pepper or like paprika or like a little bit of pepper and all that, but then that's like as far as I go. I mean, like sweet chili is probably like my maximum threshold of like heat. I'm not a heat person, but I just don't understand. Like, it doesn't seem to matter what you eat. You're like, oh, hot sauce. That's like when we showed your salad in the Discord. I was like, he probably put fucking hot sauce on that. It's like, which number did you
Yeah,
use
no, I'm
today?
not. I'm not that crazy. Like, there's limits to it.
I don't know
Oh, there's
about that.
limits.
I don't know about that.
I wouldn't
You
put
probably
hot sauce on like I don't know a salad or like if I'm just eating like a grilled cheese. I wouldn't put hot sauce. Well,
I'm,
actually, you know what? I might put hot sauce on grilled cheese.
all I'm saying is that you showed a picture recently. It was chili, rice, two like dollops of sour cream and hot sauce, probably, right?
That was
Yeah,
that was red Savina hot sauce. So
but you put that in
no bullshit. That was scorpion hot sauce.
yeah, but you put that and sour cream over
Yeah, which
chili and
cancels each
rice.
other out, right? Would it just cancel out the spice?
It does
So
not
it'd be,
cancel out the spice. It just adds a new flavor into the mix.
I don't get it.
And then the
I
next day was not good.
Yeah, of course, you know.
I mean, it was. I mean,
if it burns going in, it's probably gonna burn coming out. Let's be real.
It just feels
yeah, I
like
don't
an
know what
unhealthy
abuse goes on down
obsession.
there. I mean, I take at least 2 or 3 days that I don't eat any hot sauce, so it's not like I
Oh,
do it every single day.
I feel like you need to go to like Alcoholics Anonymous, but for like hot sauce. It's
And
like,
alcohol.
okay, yeah, it's like,
I mean, honestly, okay, not the other week. I'd say a couple months ago, my mom bought this like fucking jalapeno alcoholic drink, and it was absolutely fucking horrible. I did not
um,
like it.
that's like your
Like,
two favorite things.
no, it doesn't work that way. Like you take a sip and it just burns everything, and it's like it's not even a fun burn. It's just like I don't want to be here anymore. Like I'm drinking this because it'll do the job, but I don't want this anymore. Like so, there's limits to like hot sauce or spicy things. Like I wouldn't go that far to like be like yeah. I'll drink an alcoholic drink that is literally fucking mixed with jalapenos and agave juice.
I will say that's something I don't like. I don't know if you guys know the three forms, but I fucking it's
What do you mean
either
the three forms?
yeah, there's three forms, okay? There's the liquid hot sauce, you know? That's like you
Okay.
dip your fucking wings in it and then you take a bite, you know?
Yeah.
That's pretty fine.
Yeah,
I can do that.
no, I
You
can't.
you have the dry rub. You have the dry hot sauce, like
The
you got
powder.
fucking powdered shit that you put on it, and then you cook it, and it, puts it into the meat.
Infuses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
infuses into the meat. I'm also fine
Yeah.
with that.
I'm
Here's where
not.
I draw the fucking line, though. A glaze. I can't do
Oh,
glazes. They're fucking awful. It's like, you know, they got the flamethrower, right? It's like, oh, that's kind of hot. That kind of burns me, right? glaze is like a fucking. It's like napalm. It's sticky. It fucking burns. It hurts. I don't
It
understand
kind of
people.
gets everywhere.
It gets everywhere. It's sticky. It's like, who would make this fucking piece of shit?
Yeah, I'd say that would be my least favorite. Like when it's like wings, but it's like a whole glaze of
It's
wings,
like
and it
a
has like
fucking glob of like.
you touch your eyes, you go blind.
Yeah, it's like a glob of fucking goo around the meat. It's like great, exactly what I wanted. Fucking
I could
disgusting
agree with
shit.
that. Yeah, I'd rather have the either in just a dipping sauce or a powder form, like a dry rub.
Yeah,
I
it's
can get
crazy.
down with glazes in general, but like I can't really participate in like conversations about which spice I like and which spice I don't like because I'm just not down with the heat. I'm just
None
not.
spice left beef.
What?
But in glazes in general or like marinades, I'm quite partial to. I know that you don't like it, Justy, but like I'm quite like a fan of like Chinese barbecue chicken or like barbecue wings or something. I know you hate it with like a passion, but I'm quite partial to it.
It,
I think sometimes people overdo it though. Like there's more like glaze than there is anything else. I don't think you need to like saturate it quite as much. Just a little bit can go a long way.
yeah, I'm fine with it as long as people practice like some amount of restraint with it. Like the number one thing I don't like about barbecues with families or whatever is that there's always the one dad or mom, whoever's cooking, I don't fucking care. But they're always like, what if I made it 99% sauce and I made it 1% the actual food? Like, I'm not gonna be one of those idiots that's like, yeah, well, why would you cover up the meat? The meat's the good part. You know, because let's be honest, most of the time it don't taste no different. It's just the texture.
Especially when it's like finger food, like it's the worst.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to complement the meat, but I don't think it should necessarily overpower the meat.
Yeah, and that's what I've experienced like all the time. It's people who are like I've been on both sides. It was what I was at my dad's girlfriend's father's house. I know, confusing sentence, whatever. But
Yes,
he cooked
very.
up a steak and he gave me one of them. And I was like, "Oh, can I have A1?" And he's like, you don't need sauce with when it's this good." And it's like, "Great. Thanks. I wanted a little bit of sauce with my fucking dry steak. Thank you." Then I was on the opposite end where I went to my uncle's for like a barbecue, and everything was just barbecue sauce. It was like, great. Where's the actual fucking food? I thought, why don't you just hand out a fucking bottle of barbecue sauce so we can suck on it? Basically the same thing. I don't know. I'm very
The thing is with my mom, like I don't know, something's wrong with her. I think like she's like palate death. Like she doesn't season anything properly. Like she says she does, and sometimes when she grills, like she seasons food.
yeah.
But in the past, like as I was a kid, she never seasoned anything she cooked, so everything always had a bland taste. So that's why I always put hot sauce on everything. Not because, well, it is because I like hot sauce, but because like I grew up with such like
Plain food.
mediocre tasting food, and that's why I used to put a lot of salt
You
and
still do.
pepper on my food. No, I don't anymore. I used to put a lot of salt on my food because I'm like I actually need more flavor, and then salt's like that's just such a white person thing. We want something better than that.
I'm
So
sorry, you're not white.
no, it's a meme. Anyway,
Oh,
Is true.
like
It
after so many years of just eating bland shit, it's like all right, I want something more. So I got into, I guess, slowly got into like maybe like a little bit spicier. No, okay, not pepper. Pepper's not spicy, but
sure it
and then
is.
yeah, it is. It's for some people it can be pretty spicy.
sure,
I
okay,
think
for some
when
people,
you're this far down the line as you are, it's not spicy anymore, but it
yeah,
still can be.
yeah, I know for Charlie's certain like non like too much cayenne pepper would be spicy. But yeah, pretty much after a while, like I kind of developed, like I want more flavor. So I kind of went the extreme route and went, I like hot sauce. Hot sauce is good because I
You
remember
you just
as a
overcompensated though.
as a
Like
as a as a younger person, like not a younger person, as when I was a younger person, me and my friends used to go to the Chinese spot, which I told Justy about. He has no idea what I'm talking about. The Chinese spot up the block. You go in there, you get your 4-piece wings with either rice or fries, and they give you hot sauce packets, the little hot sauce packets. And you take the hot
oh, I
sauce
remember
packets.
them. I never
Yeah,
used them. I gave them to you.
yeah. And you put the hot sauce packets, you either put them straight up on the fries, and the wings, or you put them on the side. I usually would put them on the side because I'm like OCD, like I want to like be able to dip everything in. And we used to go there after smoking weed, um, and just having like the 4-piece wings with like either rice or fries. And that's how I started liking hot sauce. And then ever since then, pretty much, I was like, yeah, but now it's not hot enough, so I need more. So I would start getting like, into more hot sauce, like Red Hots. And now Red Hots is like, all right, well, that's really not that hot. Sriracha, that's not really that hot. And my mom, I think, bought like something at one point, and it was a bit spicier. And I'm like, oh, I like that. Yeah, I like that. And then ever since then, I kind of been like, so how hot or how sorry, I know you hate Justy how I say hot. How
Yeah,
spicy
there
can
we
I
go.
take this?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all
You
right.
went a Vindaloo though, and you seem to struggle with it a bit.
I was not good at that moment. I think I was like dying of alcohol poisoning or something.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. But like, yeah,
Yeah, so
you
that's why I couldn't eat because I remember like my stomach was already not happy with me, and I forced myself to try to eat some of it.
you're not doing that this time. I swear to God, you will be sleeping outside.
No, that Vindaloo was actually like that was beyond what I could handle. That's some Indian shit. Like that's the point where I'm like I I can't even enjoy it at this point.
Yeah,
It's
but
literally just like
you asked for like the spiciest curry in the Indian. I gave you like the second to third
because
most spicy.
I wanted to see what I could handle.
And he could not
You could,
handle it.
No, because those motherfuckers make shit so spicy. I remember my ex-friend, he used to like fucking drink hot sauce bottles and like just for fun. And I'm like, because he's Indian, and I'm like, yo, these guys really have some other kind of like palate because I I think I like hot sauce, but they do it in a way where it's like
you know,
this ain't fun anymore. Like how do you shit? How do you shit and not die?
like I'm 4% Indian, so I kind of think like
Oh
sorry,
my
somewhere
god.
I
Oh
should
no,
genetically be
don't bring that up. Dusty hates
accustomed in some way genetically, but I'm just not. I can't abide spice.
no, I thought like I like spice, like, but that shit was just not even fun at that point. I
Yeah,
probably there's probably some Indian guy that was just like this tastes like fucking water.
British people love their vindaloo. I can't even look at the stuff. It's disgusting. It's just burnt.
It's like lava.
Yeah.
It's just a different kind of spice, you know? It's just something you're not
Nah,
accustomed to.
if you had it, you would be like, and then just like instantly shit your pants.
I'm just saying, it's kind of like, you know, how you had to start at, I don't know, at pepper or,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, because I remember I used to find pepper like quite hot, and I was like, and people would laugh at me. And I'm
That's
like,
a
well,
literally a white person moment.
well, I
It's
was
an
never
everyone moment. What are you talking about?
I
It's a
was never
meme.
brought up to eat like curries or anything like that. So, because my mum doesn't like it, and whenever I tried one, I didn't like it. So, like when I started, making my own food and stuff, I experimented with like pepper, and it took me a little while to get used to it. Now I think pepper's fine. It's peppercorns that can be a little bit like, ow, that burns. Like sometimes you just get like a bit of like a kernel or whatever that just hasn't grinded down properly, and
Yeah.
that's like, oh,
Yeah, that's
fuck
bad.
me.
Yeah, I've had that happen before. I think.
But
Go
but
ahead.
it sorry, it's like I don't know, it's like a lot of things. Like it's sort of like training yourself to deal. I reckon some people have like a natural tendency to like be more accustomed to spice. Like maybe it's like some sort of receptor or something in the mouth. Like maybe some people have like stronger receptors to it, and maybe some
That could
people
be
have less.
genetics.
Yeah,
It could
a
be,
stronger
but
tolerance to spicy foods.
yeah, but whatever that genetics is, it hasn't passed to me. Because like cayenne pepper or maybe like sweet chili is like, yeah, that's like I suppose if I wanted to, I could train myself to get past it, but it's just not enjoyable to me. Like
Yeah,
that is like the brink of it to me, and I'm like, any more than this, and I wouldn't be doing it for me. I'd be doing it to prove a point, you know?
I don't mean to be sexist or anything, but I do believe a lot of females do not like spicy food, whereas I've seen a lot of men who are like, "I'm gonna make my own spice. I love hot sauce. Let me tell you." You know,
Do you think it's like a macho thing, like though? Like, look what a man I am. I eat pure flames. Like,
No,
I think
oh,
sometimes like the pain kind of feels good. You know, it's like, "Ooh, ow, oh wait, it's kind of nice." You know, it's like I don't know. I don't really feel macho for it. It's more of like it hurts a little, but it hurts kind of in a good way, I suppose. You know?
I've never really experienced that.
Yeah.
Like, like sweet chili. I'd rather sweet chili be without the burn. I have got better at it because, like, I go to this place called Weatherspoons, and they do these halloumi fries, and it always comes with like sweet chili. So I've become like better with sweet chili because like it was just something to dip my halloumi in. But like I don't know, I can't say I've ever enjoyed like my mouth burning and like needing to drink milk or whatever or needing some sour cream. It's just something I can't fathom as being enjoyable. And like, people get sweaty and stuff. And I'm like, why do you want to do that? It's like
See,
I don't know, Sado what's it called? Sado Mac.
sadomachinist or
Yeah.
yeah, sadomachinist. I I would say I agree with you there. I don't see the fun in making it purely unenjoyable, you know. But I
Yeah.
do like a
Yeah.
little bit of spice. Like if I'm eating an item with spice on it, it's not like I take one bite and I'm like, oh, holy shit, I'm gonna die. It's more like
Yeah.
it's got to be a somewhat slow to medium, build up. Like I eat a few and then I start getting the spicy mouth. No,
Yeah.
I
I think because like I didn't grow up around it either, that it's just not like something that really occurs to me, And like I don't look at curries and think, oh, I want that. Or I don't look at spicy sauce and think, oh, I want that.
do you like any sour kind of food
Not
or
particularly.
candies?
No, not really.
Maybe it's something to do with that because I know with sour type of food, I also get the same kind of feeling that I would with spicy food. It's kind of like, ooh, this makes my mouth kind of hurt a little, but it's
I'm
hurting
just
in
gonna
like
use
a
the
good
restroom.
way.
I'll be right back.
All right, but um, yeah, it's like sour stuff is a little tasty, you know. I don't know. What kind of
Depends
food
on what you
person are
consider
you?
sour. It depends on what you consider sour though, because like would you consider an apple sour?
Yeah, I was about to say, have you ever had a Granny Smith apple or just the green apple in general?
Yeah, yeah. I prefer the red ones because they're a little sweeter. Like I'm just not like it's not a big fan of sour stuff, but
That's fair
an
enough.
apple is kind of fine. I'm definitely a savory person. Like I would definitely rather more food than have a dessert. Like you go to a restaurant and people like they have their main and they're like, oh, gotta save room for dessert. I'm like, no, I'm gonna finish my plate and maybe finish some of your plate because I don't want dessert. I just want more food.
So, but that's also sweets as well. So you wouldn't say you're a sweets person either. Like you're more of a sweets, but not too much of one.
Are you going to answer that?
No, I'll go ahead and text her. I'll wait until Bin arrives and then maybe I'll give her a call back.
Okay. I am and I'm not. So, like, occasionally, I don't know if this is too much information, but like before my period and during, I do crave like maybe a little bit of chocolate or like a certain type of pudding. But by and large, like I barely ever touch ice cream. I barely ever eat cake. I barely ever eat chocolate. It's just aside from but I drink really sweet stuff. So I like energy drink and I like Dr. Pepper, but I will note that like our Dr. Pepper and our Coke over here isn't as sweet as the one in America. Like when I was in America, I had to drink diet stuff because it was just too sweet for me. It was like liquid dessert.
Yeah, their sodas taste like kind of a nothing burger compared to us.
So like I do drink quite densely sugary drinks, but they're nothing to the level that you guys have in America because like I used to think I liked grape soda or pop or whatever you want to call it, but when it became so available to me, I was like, I don't even like this anymore. It's just like drinking fruit flavored syrup. Like it just everything tasted like syrup to me. It wasn't like, oh, this is refreshing. It's like, oh my god, I need some water because this is just bleh.
I get that as well. Like I'll sometimes eat too much sweet stuff, like candies and stuff like that, and you just kind of get like I don't know how to explain it. It's just like a film, or it's like it's
Mm.
kind of like the same thing you get when you eat like a glazed food. It's like some kind of thick. I don't know.
Like
This?
like a furry tasting on your teeth or something.
It's kind of like that, and like it's like your mouth is swarmed full of saliva or something, like sticky, gluey saliva in your mouth, and you're like,
Kind of like when you wake up in the morning and you haven't brushed your teeth yet.
yeah, exactly. It's like your saliva is all sticky and it's like gross and shit. That's why I also don't like eating too much sugary stuff. It just, I don't know. That's
It,
I used to never until like about I guess a few months back. I started going to the store and just buying like snacks and stuff. I used to never eat anything like that. I used to never even drink soda. I blame Joe for that.
well, when I was a kid, I was definitely I had quite a sweet tooth. I liked having pudding or
Tough.
dessert, and I liked having like sweets and stuff. But I don't know. As an adult, it's just not something I reach for. I don't go, in the store, or the shop, or whatever you want to call it, and be like, "Oh, I really want some sweets," or "I really want some chocolate right now." I just don't. I'd rather just go to
The
like
liquor store aisle.
no,
Yeah.
no. I would just rather
Yeah.
like get like crisps or something. Sorry, chips.
I
Or
mean, you
like
can
I don't
use
know.
whatever term you want.
Or like I want chicken skewers or something. I I don't I don't really reach for like um like chocolate bars or cake. Like I said, sometimes around my period I get like a really strong craving, like I want milkshake, I want chocolate milkshake, and I want maybe a bar of chocolate or something. But other than that, it's just never really something it just doesn't even occur to me. I like cookies, as in like cookies, as in like
Cookie
the
cookie.
I don't know how to explain it because you guys call them cookies regardless. It seems, um, a cookie with like chocolate chips in it.
That
I
is a
don't like
cookie.
them. I like them, but like I seldom ever eat them. And I guess in a way, I don't buy them because that's the problem. If someone buys it, I'll go and eat it. But I'll never buy it myself because I know I'll eat it. So it's like I avoid the temptation by just not buying it. And then I'm not bothered. It's only when I know it's there do I think, oh, there's some cookies in the cupboard, I could eat them, or oh, there's a bar of chocolate downstairs, I could eat that. Like, if you remove the temptation from me, I don't even think about it.
Aren't most
Weird.
things fueled by temptation, though?
Hmm, I guess. But like, I don't seek out the temptation. Like, I think some people, if you're doing like um, your online shopping or something,
Yeah.
or you go around the supermarket, like, I don't gravitate towards the sweet aisle or anything like that. I kind of just avoid it because like it's even in that kind of situation, it's just not a thing to me. Um, it's only if like someone else buys it and it's in the house that then I gravitate towards it more.
Would you be
It's
the
kind of
type
weird.
of woman that, you're like, oh yeah, I don't really want any fries, You get what you want. And then if Ben got an order of fries, you'd be stealing some of his food, you know?
Yeah, I am a bit like that because
No.
I'm
See,
not a
as
big.
a smart man, you have to always, even if she says no, you order more just in case.
I don't really like chips, but I like McDonald's chips and things like that. So I will always order in that situation chips, but like I'm a fast eater as well, see, so I'll eat my dinner before everyone else, and if you've got a few chips on your plate, I'm probably gonna eat them. I don't know what it is. I don't even like
I could
chips.
just see Justy smacking your hand away like this is mine.
Yeah. I'd be like, what do you think you're doing? My food. You, s-
Uh,
you crazy.
I kind of have a different topic I want to talk about if you guys are interested.
Okay, what are you
mhm.
thinking?
Are you guys familiar with Malaysia Flight 370?
I
Yes,
think so.
the flight that went missing.
Yeah.
Yes. Are
Yeah,
you familiar with the whole UFO thing about it,
no.
Justy?
No.
All right. So this is just something interesting. I'm gonna link it in the chat.
I
It
heard
might be.
about
It
potential
might.
hijacking and
No,
things
no,
like
no.
that, but
This is more out there. So this is more of an interesting take on it. And a lot of people have seemed to have trouble debunking it or saying it's real. So either people are saying it could be real or it can't be real. And from what I've been reading for the past week, it's been hit or miss on what people are actually thinking about it. What are your guys, thoughts on aliens before we even get into this?
I love aliens. I love them
You
so
love
much.
aliens,
Yeah, I'm
Charlie?
yeah.
I think it's very possible, and I think the fact that people say that we haven't received any sign of alien life is because we're looking at it from a very egotistical point of view. We're looking for like carbon based beings, or that they use physics in the same ways that we do, like they use radio waves or they use microwaves or whatever. And I think that's just a very egotistical, egocentric way of looking at life. Like, life is so diverse on this planet alone. Like, does a
All right,
worm communicate in the same way that we do? No. Does that mean they don't communicate?
all
No.
right. So let me lay it out for you. So you guys remember when Flight Malaysia they disappeared, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was still talking, but yeah.
No, no. Because I want to lay this out for you. So there was a video, Justy. I want to wonder if you could. You see where I sent you the link
Where was it?
in the chat
Yeah, I
in the
remember.
voicemail chat.
I'm using OBS, so it literally is like, you fucked with
I know.
nerd. Yeah, I see it. What about it?
All right. So when you click on it, this is the original video that was uploaded May 19th, 2014. So pretty much a couple months after Malaysia Airlines 370 disappeared. Now, hold on.
Oh, okay.
Um, is it possible you could um share your screen and blow this video up so it's like in full screen on the podcast.
You want me to
Alright.
screen
Yeah,
capture?
or screen share with us and then blow it up
What the fuck is
on
What I
your
was
this?
end.
gonna say was, even though I think aliens are a very real possibility and probably do exist, I also don't really think they're little green men or anything.
What's your idea of an alien then? Would it be an alien
I,
from XCOM, possibly? You?
no, I think it could be something that we can't even fathom, something we can't even understand.
This is
I
this is why I linked you the mega thread, because this is I'm
listen,
not saying this is
listen.
true or fake,
I'm
but I
setting
think this
it
is
up.
very.
I wanna hear what Charlie has to say. What she thinks an alien is. Okay, I'm getting it all set up. I'm getting the window capture, and then I'm gonna share on the Discord, and we can check it out
I,
together.
I think life could possibly share similarities across the universe, but given you know, the depth and the vastness of the universe, the fact that planets and solar systems and stars and black holes, not only do we not fully understand them, but they don't operate necessarily in uniform ways, would indicate that, a different gravity, a different atmospheric composition, and all these things. I
It's
think we're
the
just
original video on top, by the way.
we're
Okay.
I think we're just looking at it from a very earth and human focused ideology that there could be so much that we're missing, you know?
I do agree with that. I think we limit ourselves by only considering what we are capable of. Like, the alien has to have two eyes on its head because we have eyes, and that's how we see, That's how most of the creatures on our planet see. They have to have some kind of visionary, uh,
Yeah.
you know, thing to them. But I think, it truly is you know, something that's not understandable in the least bit. You know what I mean?
There could be freaking sorry, language. There could be like algae or something living in, like, I don't know, in the Oort cloud or something. That's still alien, but I don't think we would necessarily take it as alien because it's not necessarily intelligent life or what we think of as intelligent life, you know?
And that's the other issue is that who's to even say that these aliens would be more intelligent than us? Maybe they're, it's kind of like imagine if their whole natural instinct, much like how ours is to like survive and reproduce and stuff. If their natural instinct is to, jump from planet to planet, but they're still simple-minded. They just have that ability. But I'm gonna go ahead and share
I think I
this
saw a
video.
UFO once. I saw something very strange anyway. But yeah, I'm watching.
Satellite,
Alright, so
video,
yeah,
airliner, and UFOs all the way back
Any way to make it
2014.
bigger? 'Cause it's quite
yeah, he
small.
could do full
I'll
screen.
full screen it.
All right, so this is one angle that they have.
Okay. What's
Now,
this
this
of?
is alleged. This is not confirmed or denied. This people are trying to debunk this every minute right now. That
Well,
they're trying to
I
say this is
just
fake.
I just see
Just
it
watch
playing.
and
Keep watching. There's a little white dot going around it. Two white dots going around it. Three white dots going around it.
How do we know
Wow.
that that's Malaysian Airlines, though? How do we know that it's that plane?
and there's a whole Reddit thread where they pretty much lined it up with the airline itself.
Man, that's a cool effect. I like that.
Right?
That's a pretty cool
Uh,
effect.
And
I
there's
don't
a
know.
second. Now there's a second video from apparently a military drone. It should be the second link.
Secondly, what's all this black space thing?
Oh, I don't know
Man,
about
they
all that.
got the professionality to remove or to do all that
Now,
cool
go to
effects.
the second link on the mega thread. I think that's the
Revisiting
correct.
supposed military drone footage.
Yeah, that's it.
Sorry, is this a? Sorry, this is a video within a video. And then whoever's watching this is watching a video within a video within a video.
Videoception.
Videoception.
And people have put these two videos together, and
Right, so what's that?
apparently,
Is that like thermal imaging or something?
yeah.
Wow, look at that.
I mean, that could literally just be like a filter, right?
And apparently they calculated the coordinates somehow with the whatever the clouds in the sky, and they said that this is pretty much off, pretty much in the same area as where this plane has disappeared.
Yeah, this shakily. Wow. What's that? What's that over there?
That's the camera from the drone.
Drone only
Oh.
operated by USAF. By the way, in case you didn't know, red circle, red circle. Wow. Fire. I don't know about that.
I'm not convinced.
Yeah.
The only reason that's very interesting is because this video came out only very close to when Malaysia Airlines disappeared.
When it
Like
came
it has to take someone. It has to take someone that high quality that knows VFX,
high quality,
like to edit all of that within.
I wouldn't say it was particularly high quality. It was just some little orbs floating around, and then
Yeah, but how do you do that in like editing? You don't know how editing works.
well,
right, but someone out there does.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
but to have that footage as well.
have you ever watched Captain Disillusion?
I have not.
Oh my gosh, Ben, you are missing out. Ben, if you watch some of that stuff, you'd be like, man, I'm a freaking brimble bramble talking kind of man right now. Like, I don't know, he's a VFX artist. He's like, here, I'm gonna go ahead and debunk this stupid fucking video, and
Yeah, but the problem is there's been
but he
people
recreates
this whole
it
thread.
though.
Nobody can debunk this confirmed.
What do you mean
They can't say this
confirmed?
is. Look through the whole mega thread. No one can say that there's like a solid debunk of this.
Okay, is there a solid proof of it either?
That's the thing.
Okay,
There's no
there
solid
we.
proof, but there's no solid not proof.
Okay, then there we go. It's just like God. Like, well, could
It's
be,
up in the
can't
air.
be. Yeah.
But what if it is?
What's the point of it though? I don't know. It's like
I mean, I think it's a fun thing just to think about. Like, what if
I'm more
you were on a
like
plane and you got transported to like a million light years away, and then you came back one day and just were fine.
I just enjoy aliens in general. Like,
I know. That's what I'm saying. I like the idea of it.
why
I
can't
don't
you
know if
just
it's
say
true
that
or
then,
not.
you little silly goose?
I never said if it's true or not. I just said I like the idea that it's a possibility.
Well, yeah, of course they've been a possibility for quite a long time. You know, me and Charlie were getting into that. She was saying, aliens.
As far as we know, the universe is. Sorry to interrupt, but go on. Actually, sorry, I was being rude.
I was just saying that Charlie was describing that aliens are probably real, but they don't look how we think of them because, they're not restricted to what we do,
Aliens could think of us as really insignificant as well. They could be like so technologically advanced that they can't distinguish us from the ants that we just ignore every day.
I had a stupid theory. Not a stupid theory, but just a theory. What if like aliens like kind of like knew about us this whole time? And remember how like people are like, oh, like 20, 30, 40 years ago there was all these sightings, and then like suddenly it kind of stopped. There was no footage of anything. What if the aliens were like, oh, these guys are getting technological advanced. Like they kind of like they have phones, they have cameras, they have things that could like capture us. So we can't be that blatant with our attacks anymore. So we have to kind of pull back and just not, make it that obvious. Because back in the day, those humans, they didn't, or those whatever they said, those people, they didn't have any kind of like visual proof of us. And now that they do, they can't really, they can't do what they did before.
I don't know. I just think that the universe, as we know it, or how we think we know it, has been about for like 13 billion years, like 13.8 billion years or something like that. Like, yeah, okay, there could be a civilization out there, but like the speed in which they would have to travel, and supposedly nothing can travel faster than light,
To
and
our
even
understanding.
travel to our understanding, yes. Our current understanding of physics is that nothing can physically be faster than the speed of light. But even to just, go from one end of our galaxy to another would take thousands, if not millions, of potential light years, and that's traveling at the speed of light. So, like, theoretically, there could be like extremely advanced civilizations out there in a way that we can't comprehend. But I just don't think we're that special. Why would they want to come and look at us? Why would they want to come probe us and whatever? Like, I just don't think we're as special in the universe as we'd like to think we are.
We'd be
I,
like in the autistic camp. Be
kind
like,
of.
oh, Earth is kind of shitty. No one likes Earth. They're a bunch of just maniacs trying to bomb
Also,
each other.
I'm kind of afraid of the idea of like aliens coming to visit, because look at how other humans, think of like colonization and things like that. When we meet another civilization, what do? We fucking stick a flagpole in the ground and murder half of them. Like, who's to say like some alien race wouldn't want to come and do that to us? Like, hey, we'll own this now. Let's exterminate them or whatever. Like human beings can't even treat each other with like, you know,
Respect.
Decency.
yeah. And especially when we perceive ourselves as better than the other, we're like, "Oh, look at you, savages! You clearly need to be civilized." Like, what's to stop an alien race looking at us and thinking, "Ah, look at these little savages," Time to show them the way. So, like, I'm kind of afraid, even though I love the idea that we're not alone in the universe. We're not these special sapient, beings. We're not these like, all important beings that just inhabit this planet, and we like to think we're the most intelligent ones on the planet. Even though I'd love to just crush our reality a little bit and be like, nah, there's more than this. I'm afraid of that idea as well. I'm afraid. I just don't think it would go well. Either aliens would, probably want to exterminate us or whatever, or we'd want to exterminate them something. I just can't see meeting with like another life form in any kind of regard going well. I mean, it's like we've all seen sci-fi movies. You know what happens? Aliens come down, and all of a sudden, War of the Worlds.
I hate that about everyone. I absolutely hate that. Movies are a fucking curse upon humanity, and I'll stand by that. A lot of people, I I don't understand it. Maybe it's because I didn't grow up in like the past few years before my birth and get to experience all the 90s and 80s and shit like that where everyone was doing coke and making all these great films and stuff like that, but I just don't understand where these people get their fucking like I don't understand people who watch these movies and are like, okay, well, that's how it is then. Like, Boston Dynamics, they're robots and stuff like that, right? They can
Uh-huh.
like walk almost autonomously and stuff. And instead of being like, oh my gosh, that's really cool, we're getting closer to an autonomous future where maybe we can, have robots work together with humans. A lot of people are like, if I see that thing walking on the street, I'm gonna pull out my shotgun and shoot it. It's like, I understand a lot of people have fear of the unknown, but that's why you educate yourself and you understand and you learn about it because other than you're just limiting yourself. It's I don't know. I never understood it. People are like, I gotta watch this alien movie. Oh, aliens are fucking horrible. I swear, if I ever see an alien, I'm gonna kill it. Like, you know, I don't know. It's so
They could be
weird.
nice people
Yeah, I just don't
or
understand
nice
people.
things.
I don't understand how people are like, oh well, I watched a movie that is, it. The movie
A
isn't there.
fabrication.
Yeah, it's a
It's because
fabrication.
the movie portrays them as immediately a threat.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that the movie's not there to be. It's not like a documentary. It's not like, well, here's what we think about aliens, and it's there to rake in some motherfucking money. Okay, you think Hollywood's like, oh yeah, this is our true thoughts. It's like, no, we understand what you little dumb monkeys want. You want fucking alien shooting action and stuff like that. I don't know. The main point that I'm trying to get across is that I just don't understand why people see this media and then their whole perspective is just that. It's like, I don't know. It's weird, but go ahead.
I don't even think it's just media. I just think like just look at the animal kingdom as a whole. It's brutal, and like we as a species, we can't even like treat our fellow humans with respect. We could, if someone's black or Asian or whatever, we're like, oh yeah, it's us and them. Like we just create so many like divides. Like I just can't see us handling another species or whatever, and just it going down lovely and platonically, and yeah, I just can't see it because the very nature of our being is quite violent. The animal kingdom is quite violent, and
I'm
I
gonna be
just
honest. I
hmm?
don't I don't agree with you, and I don't like the way your outlook on humans. I can understand it, but I don't agree with it. Um, it is obvious that we are a species that is made to, it's either me or you to survive, but
Hmm.
to simply call us animalistic and be like, well, look how we treat our own humans. It's more of like, look how some of us treat the others. Not everyone is like that. We
No,
Yeah,
but I don't mean, I just mean that you can draw similarities, I guess, with the
yeah,
animal kingdom. I'm not saying that even though technically we are animals, we have like, empathy and things like that. Things that might set us apart, at least from some animals.
yeah,
Like, it's just, I don't know. I guess I just think of like world leaders, people who just seem kind of devoid of empathy, and they're usually the ones that, with the power, and they just, wage wars and everyone. It's not the common person. I don't think the common person is like necessarily violent or whatever. I just think that, those in power, like I just can't see them. Like they would be the ones who decide whether we,
yeah.
fire a gun at an alien or whatever. And I think they're the ones who are more predispositioned to be violent in the name of like protecting a fellow countrymen or whatever it is.
Okay, then yeah, I can agree with that. I think a lot of them would decide for us what to do when some of us would be obviously opposed to it.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
that's the problem because most of the time, like if we were in that situation, we would all be sitting there like, so yeah, there's aliens here. We're just kind of chilling. We want to hang out with them, and they go and be like, nuke them now. And we're like, wait, no, we didn't ask for that. And then it'll be
That's the
like,
thing.
well,
It's
everyone dies.
history is governed by those, in power. Like the common people probably don't want to go to war with another country or
Yeah,
what have you, but it's the people in power, the greed and whatever, you know, makes them do whatever they do, and those are the people that would decide what happens if we meet an alien race. It wouldn't be you or I
true.
or Ben. It would be political leaders. And I just don't think they have the capacity, to be like, oh, hello, alien. Sure, let's advance both of our species and live harmoniously together. It'd be like either they have something that we want and we want to take it from them, or it'd be like something like, oh, look at this inferior, savage creature. Let's try and tell it religion. It's not living. It's not living godly. Like it'll be something. I just can't see it going down harmoniously.
It'll
You
be
know?
like the reverse of like when the United States would be like, "Yo, Afghan, I like that oil. Can we have that?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah, we can go take that." And then they take it and then just like shit on everybody for no reason. And they're like, "Oh, oops, did I do that?" And then it was like a complete disaster.
I think it's fine to wage war between humans. I think conflict is inevitable. There is no unlimited resources, and there is no constraint or uh there's no constraint or restriction to ideas and how they spread. There's I mean, look at World War II with the whole idea of Nazis and white supremacy and the one true race and stuff like that. Those are ideas that are clearly wrong. They're
Should
clearly
and should be
misproven.
should be fought against kind of thing.
Yeah, but yet there's people that still truly believe in that nowadays, and it's it uh you know resources are limited. Not every country has the same amount of ability as another. Like people that live in more uh desert kind of climates, they obviously can't make food for themselves. So people who do have food or have the ability to grow food obviously have an advantage, and they will say, "Well, we want something from you in return." It's all about
This,
that kind of
this is
stuff.
where I kind of like, on the one hand, I think war is good for population control because I really just think that we're just breeding out of control. There's only a finite amount of space on the planet,
You
and only
said
a
some
finite
people need to die.
no, but there's only a finite amount of resources, and I just think, some I don't want to see people die. I don't, but something needs to happen with this crazy populate. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago it was 6 billion. Now I think we're on like 8 billion, and then maybe soon it'll be 9 billion. And it's just the rate of population growth is just. I don't think it's sustainable. But at the same time, I have a cognitive dissonance in that I don't want to. I don't want to see people suffer. I don't want to see people die, and and
All right,
and
so
also.
if you had to pick one race to be eradicated, what would it be?
Oh, okay, let's not say that. But like, I also think like I have a view that my views. I think we shouldn't stone women for having an education. We shouldn't. I
Tell
don't know.
that to the
What I'm
Muslims.
Yeah, Benjamin. But what I
Am
mean
I
is
not true?
that
I
hang
don't
on, let
agree
me
with
explain
you.
my point is that my view isn't necessarily the right view. I feel uncomfortable with the idea if I go into Afghanistan or what have you and say, hey, you're living wrong. This is the way you should be living. Just because I think that that's how people should be living. I have like a cognitive dissonance with it. It's like on the one hand, I think that our values should be fought for. So yes, get rid of Nazis, get rid of extremism, get rid of racism, all of it. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that I am right. And do I have the right to impose my morals on another nation? So I'm like very conflicted on it. Like the UN when they go in and they do this, for example, like female genital mutilation. Like we're going in there and telling that culture this is wrong, this is abuse, this is this, this is that. But at the same time, I'm like, well, that's their culture. Do we have any right to go in and tell them that what they're doing is wrong just because we perceive it as wrong? That's kind of where I struggle. I get that I, I don't really know what to think because I have like two opposing views trying to find a middle ground. If you get me.
Yeah, it makes sense in a way because I think it's whatever you grow up with and you decide from that kind of education as your morals and stuff. A lot of people think cannibals aren't good, you know? Would you say
Mm.
that, Charlie? Would you say a cannibal is not an ideal person to be in this world?
I think I think it would really depend on how the person died. I think like if they died of natural causes or whatever, then I kind of don't see it as the most awful thing. I don't see it any different to a chicken. But like if you're like actively going around killing people so that you can eat, I don't know, human leg for tea, then that's a bit ethically wrong to me.
Okay. Say someone gets murdered, right?
Mm.
The cannibal didn't have anything to do with it. Do you think it's okay to serve that dead person to the cannibal?
Yeah, I don't know. It's tricky. It's
Exactly, because you're
tricky.
like, well, I've been taught that cannibalism isn't good, you know. Maybe
I
there
mean,
are some exceptions, like in a very desperate circumstance,
Yeah.
maybe it's okay, but you shouldn't be doing that. And then there's
like if
other
we're on a
cultures. Go ahead, Ben.
no, I was saying like, are we talking about like in a survival aspect?
No,
Like if we're like,
I mean, there's just people who want to eat human flesh. It's not
no, I mean
like
if we have other food to eat, then why are you eating flesh? Like
right.
the fuck out of
So
here.
that's what you think, right? Because that's what you've been taught. It's don't eat other people because it's bad. You have other food, you have other options and all that. It should, even if it's in a survivable, you know, if you're in a survive or die situation, you still probably shouldn't eat another person, right? But then
Yeah.
there's tons of other cultures that are like, this is perfectly fine. You know, why is everyone getting all picky on us? We are literally just eating, these people. What's the big deal, everyone? You know,
There's actually a tribe, I can't remember where it is, but they're notorious for Kuru virus, which is basically like the human version of mad cow disease.
yeah,
Because when their relatives die, they like eat their relatives.
yeah,
And like eating like human brain or whatever can give you prion disease, which I think is another word for Kuru virus. But these people actually over time they developed like a almost genetic immunity to the essentially the human version of mad cow disease because they've done it. And that to me the idea like my mum dies or my grandma, well I'm just gonna eat a bit of her tonight to honor her or whatever sounds horrific, but to them it's no different than I don't know, having a funeral and putting them in the ground or whatever, like
exactly.
that. I've grown up with the idea that the dead, you don't eat them, you honor them by laying them to rest, but they honor their dead by eating them.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
just, it doesn't make them wrong or right. It's just, I don't know, it seems unacceptable to me because that's not the way that I've been conditioned. But to them, they've never known anything else.
With
So,
enough hot sauce, anything is possible.
That is true. I think let's also use another example. There's some countries where 18 is the legal age for consent
mm,
in sexual
mm,
relations and all that. And then some countries it's 16. And in
it is,
some
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and then in uh some countries it can go as far down as 13. And even
Japan,
even some countries, I believe they're in the I believe they're in Africa, it can be as low as 8, right?
yeah.
What's your opinion on that? Do you think, you know, what do you think the legal age of consent should be? If there
It's
even should be one. What do you think?
It's it's difficult to say because when I was 16, 16, well, even before I was 16, 16 seemed so far away, but I felt like I was so mature, and if I wanted to have sex, I should be able to have sex, and it shouldn't be illegal. And when it did come to that time that, well, I, I did some sexual activities before turning 16, but when it came I waited for my partner to turn 16 so that it was completely legal before we, had full penetrative sex. And I look back now and I look at 16-year-olds or even 19-year-olds and I'm kind of low key horrified because they look so young. Like, actually, I shouldn't say that because it's public, but like, um, I just look back retrospectively and I see pictures of me at 16 and I'm kind of like, did I really have any business doing such like an adult thing?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I kind of think the laws are there to protect people because, on the one hand, I think it should be up to people. I get it's difficult. On the one hand, I think it should be up to people to decide when they are ready, not law wise, but then there would be no protection for like pedophiles and stuff. People who pick children that aren't necessarily ready or consenting, but then they could, abuse the lack of law in place in order to, I guess, lawfully abuse people. So it's really tricky because on the one hand, I'm like, I don't know, why should we be um throwing a law out there and like, it's a 16-year-old and a 15-year-old. The 16-year-old can get prosecuted for rape because they had a consensual sexual relationship with their partner. But at the same time, I understand that the law is there to protect people who say aren't ready to have sex, and there are people who are who would prey upon that. It's very, very tricky,
Yeah. It is also, I do want to say that laws aren't always there to be helpful or to protect people. They're, you know, in the United States, we did have Jim Crow laws, which were, very racially motivated and stuff, and were put there to, you know, kind of discourage the, uh, other communities other than white people and stuff like that. But yeah, and that's what I mean about the whole, is it okay to enforce my culture on someone else's,
Yeah, yeah,
because to you it's like, man, that's disgusting and all that, but to other societies it might just be seen as normal. It might be like, well, that's just how it is, that's a rite of passage or something like that, and it's hard to be like, well, no,
yeah,
that's not how it is,
Like, even when I was like 18, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. 19, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Like, it's a weird situation because like when I look back on it now, and I look back on when I was younger, I'm like, did I really know what the fuck I was doing? No. Like, did I make the right choices? Probably not. Like, should I have that? I mean, the weird is like, like being able to like, oh, say yes, you can consent. Like, I don't even know if I can consent at 18 or 19. Like, my brain is still developing every year, so it's like, if I would like go back in time and had the brain that I had now, would I do what I did then? I'd probably say no.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it's like, yeah, I probably wouldn't have done what I did back then because it's like, what the fuck was I doing? Like, and the brain is so like mush. It's like, it's weird. I feel like that whole age of consenting, like, and when it should or shouldn't be, it's like there should be like a like kind of like a gap. Like, if you're this age to this age, you can consent. If you're this age to this age, you can consent. Because like I feel like you should only be able to consent with people that are in your same mind, like in your same like mind frame. Like, you have the same thoughts. Like, you're just sort of like if you're like 15 and like, all right, so 16 to like 18, not even 18, 16 to like 17. Like, all right, so you guys are probably like thinking on the same page. If you're like 13 to maybe 15, you guys are probably thinking on the same age. That's probably okay. And if you're 18 to like 20, okay, you guys are maybe thinking on the same age or same page. I feel like it's like very complicated because like like if you're not in that same age group with that person you're talking to, like you can't really like consent. Like if you're talking to someone that's like, I don't know, 20 years older than you, what are you going to be talking about?
There's also a different
Roblox?
power dynamic as well. Like an older man with a younger female, it like depending on the age gap. I
I
think
never
it's
got that. Like as an like if you were 18 and you were talking to like a 40-year-old and you're like, "Yeah, I play Time Splitters." What's Time Splitters? How am I supposed to talk to you if you don't know what Time Splitters is?
You explain it. Kinda like how I didn't know what Time Splitters was. I'm not 40.
Yeah, but not
yeah,
just
but,
that, but games in general. They'll be like, "Oh,
Yeah, you
I
just
don't
say,
yeah,
know."
this
yeah,
is
but
how
there's
you do
6 years between me and you though, and
Yeah, because you were a little bit older at the same age that I was younger, but still growing up in the same age.
yeah, but the way
So
you
I
defined it, everything seems to be in like a 2 year, you know, group.
You see,
yeah, but
I don't agree with that at all. I think, it's, I don't know. I think personally that the age of consent should be advisory. It should be, I don't know.
But
It's
how do you
it.
protect against like pedophiles and stuff?
Well, I would say it's up to the parents' job, but that's also the issue is that a whole lot of parents aren't really, you know, they're not good parents. They don't actually, keep an eye on their kids and stuff. They're the type of parents that are like, I'm gonna bring my kid to McDonald's for like 10 years, and then I'm gonna wonder why they're obese and have diabetes, and then I'm gonna blame the restaurant instead of myself, But it,
well,
Mm.
it's
that's
it's
not your fault.
yeah, the thing is that I think if we had good parents out there, I think it should be, kind of the same situation as is with drinking. Like I believe I can't remember if it's also in the United States, but um, you know, you can let your kid drink whenever they want to, but it has to be within your own home. You know what I mean? I think
Mm.
it's something like that. I can't remember
I,
exactly, but I think it
I
should
do
be up to the
think
parent.
myself on it.
I think in New York in United States it's 16 and you're allowed to drink if they're in your vicinity.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
that.
could be making that shit up, but I think that's at least some sort of range.
I just remember reading somewhere that there was a law that was
Not
like,
in public, but at home.
yeah, at home you can, let your children drink or something like that. Obviously not let them fucking down a whiskey bottle if they're two, but you know, it's kind of the parents' choice when or if they want to allow that. And I kind of think that, I don't know, if we had good parents, that should be the same case with consent. Because obviously, if you're in the right mind and you're a good parent, you're going to be like, well, you know, my daughter, who is 16 years old, she's met this very nice young man who's 18. He's not evil in any kind of sort of way. She seems like she understands the whole consequences of these actions. It's advisory. I feel like I don't know. There's
Do you think you'd be a good dad?
no. I'd probably be pretty shit because everyone likes to think they'd be like the best perfect parent ever, but then they actually do have kids and they
I'm back.
welcome back. But people always like to think they'd be like the best parent, but in reality they get a kid and then everything blows up in their face and they have to, kind of wing it, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's complicated. For me, I feel like consent should be 25, you know? I don't see any issue between like let's say a 26-year-old and a 40-year-old because they're both done, their brains are done developing, you know.
What you don't think people should have sex until they're 25?
Uh I mean ideally, yeah. I feel like, it a parent should take care of their kid until their brain stops developing, but I know that's not that's not how everyone was raised to think. It's 18 and you're out on the
Yeah.
streets or whatever, but I don't agree with
You
that.
know, 18, 19, my brain was still just like retardo, and probably until like 23, I maybe started getting a grip on things.
Yeah.
Not really. I feel like I still don't even have a grip on things today, and I'm gonna be fucking 26 in a couple months.
Yeah, but
That's the
Ooh.
problem with things. Like it's kind of like it's really all dependent on the person, because like everyone grows up a different way and they go through a different life. Like Charlie, Joe,
Yeah.
when he's my age, he's not going to be anywhere mentally capable of where I am. So like people are mentally different in so many ways. Like you could be mentally mature at probably at least 20. I wouldn't even say 21. I'd say like 22, 23 max.
that was me.
And like there's just certain people that probably will have a tougher time getting to that, especially nowadays. Like I know older people be like, oh, the internet this, the internet, but the internet really does it fucks with people.
Yeah.
Like look at all these like strange individuals online with all these weird disorders and
I
things.
I think it should be noted that, you know, I feel, I don't know for sure because I didn't grow up in the time period, but I kind of feel like there has always been these kind of weirdos. Maybe it's a lot more now because of how easy uh, the internet is to access certain like things that they want, but I do feel like there always has been creeps and weirdos and stuff like that. It's just
I
I
think
more.
would
they
I would
they always
agree.
they always existed, but because of the
They're
access
given
they
a
have.
platform now, I
Yeah,
think.
Yeah,
yeah,
It's
yeah, absolutely.
easier to get yourself out there and you have a platform, you have a voice, anyone can go on YouTube and, you know, hundreds of thousands of people can watch what you're doing or saying. Like, not that it would, but this very conversation that we're recording could go viral, and hundreds and thousands and millions of people, suddenly you have a platform. And like, I think in some cases that can definitely go to people's heads as well and exacerbate behaviors. But
yeah,
I think it's just easier for people to be weirdos in a sense because you're so protected because you're hiding behind a screen, you know?
yeah.
It's easier to be a weirdo and get yourself out there and more people to see it than there ever was before, you know? Like,
Like
you could be
just imagine me, you, and Justy were just sitting like in chairs together, like staring at each other.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Bless, bless you.
Dang it. Fuck.
Wow.
Sorry.
How many sneezes
One
was
more
that?
time. That was like 6.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. That was probably ear rape. But just
Seven
imagine
sneezes.
we were all sitting like in a room together, just literally face to face talking with each other.
That's what I hate about nerds nowadays. I absolutely hate them about that.
What?
I don't know. It's trolls, I would say. That's the main essence of what I dislike.
A damn troll.
It's just fucking losers that just like I'm not trying to be one of those types. I'm not trying to be like, how dare you fucking bully someone else? I'm not trying to be one of those types. It is funny to watch someone wriggle and squirm online because you tease them a little bit, but there's just trolls, quote unquote. Because let's be honest, they're more malicious than a common troll, but they're like, I'm gonna dox you.
like
I'm gonna
what I've
fucking
experienced.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Imagine having like someone important in your life pass away, and then just people mock and make fun of it and stuff like that. And you know, it's all because they're behind a screen. Maybe they might do it in real life as well, but at least you can give some
They
pushback and
wouldn't. They
yeah,
wouldn't do shit in real life.
yeah, exactly. That's the issue is that weak people who have always felt weak and stuff like that finally, as you said, Charlie, they finally have a platform as well. It's,
Yeah.
well, now I can do this online and I can get away with it. Look at all the people who stream and they get fucking like raided and shit like that. Like they get police called on them because people make it seem like they have a bomb and shit. And those people who did it, they just get away with it most of the time. It just doesn't really matter. It's,
Besides that one guy that died from the swatting.
yeah, it's, I don't know, it's crazy. I just hate the idea that there's so many weak and fucking, I don't like, I don't know how to describe it nicely because they're all just pathetic.
Just people that like hate their own lives.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
like, they have to go and just like try to ruin other people's lives.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Just to make themselves feel better.
it's fucking people just who are just miserable and pathetic and just want to fucking go
They get
attack
enjoyment
someone.
out of like ruining other people's lives, and apparently that like gets them off. I don't understand why.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. Like, again, I can probably understand a little bit of teasing, to make someone like wriggle
Yeah,
and
no,
be like,
jokes. Yeah, jokes are one thing, but when you start getting into like serious allegations and like trying to like really fuck with somebody,
yeah, it.
like what do you gain by that? Like, do you gain like self gratification? Like, do you get like happy? Like,
I mean,
what?
it's
Like,
like whatever's been going on with us, like that situation. Like, what does someone stand to gain from that?
I don't know.
like I don't know. Do like they like? All right, I did this. Like, I feel better about myself. I don't understand that.
I think it's all just the reaction. It truly is. It's
And that's the thing. You have to give them no reaction. You have to be like,
Yeah, but I don't understand why making someone cry or whatever would like give someone joy or a laugh. Like,
You
because
want to know
that
why?
makes them feel they're on top.
It's because they finally have power over someone because someone probably has power over them.
yeah, I guess, and maybe I think a lot of the time these people have like an inflated sense of self worth, but for some reason they feel like I just don't get it, man. I'm so awesome. I'm so this. Like, why can't anybody see this? And then they see someone that they think is lesser than them, or maybe they even see someone that as better than them, and they want to bring them down so that they can still feel like superior or whatever.
Yeah,
The power dynamic. Yeah.
that's why they hate to be ignored. And why they just absolutely hate it. It's because it's like a big middle finger to them. It's like you think you got any power? You're fucking stupid, man. I don't know. It's very strange. I'll have to say that, but it's not completely out of left field. That's just how some humans are. They're like, yeah, you know what? I want to see people, have a bad time today. I'm having a bad time. Why not make someone else deal with it too?
I'll never understand it. Well, I can kind of understand it, but I could never live my life that way. I try to like live my life trying to make people feel better about themselves, not like worthless or whatever. I could never imagine trying to like bring somebody like down for my own satisfaction. Like I just don't understand that at all. Like I try to like almost I don't know, not forcibly, but I just, I try to make it like I want to make a difference, a positive difference in people's lives. I don't want to bring people down. I want to bring people up, and so they see what I see in them. I want to make people feel good about themselves. I don't want to be like, ha ha, you fat fucking prick. I hope you go and eat a cake and choke on it. Like I just don't understand that. I just don't get it. It's like you go
all
have that
right,
cake and you go and enjoy it.
can I say
Like
something like pretty controversial
Go ahead.
if
that
you
you
want.
definitely won't like?
Okay.
Like those times you're like, I don't like that. That's icky.
Oh no.
What do
See,
you mean?
Justy
Yep.
already knows what I
I
mean.
already know what Finn's talking about.
I don't.
You don't? You
No.
honestly don't?
No.
Justy, please explain.
So
Oh, you mean food?
No,
No, I mean, it's what you do in general, Charlie. When you're like, I'll post like my music, and you're like, this is rapey. This is really rapey. I don't like this kind of music. And then Ben will post his music, and it's like thrash metal or something. And you're like, oh, this is just horrific. This is just so evil and mean, Or
That's not like trying to bring someone down. That's just me being opinionated.
I know, but it kind of makes us feel like it's trying
but
to do that.
yeah, the thing is that you can have an opinion, but you can be like, oh, that's you know just not my taste. But to call something
I
like
have
bad
tried
or
to take
evil,
that criticism on board, though. I don't know if it's noticeable, but when you mentioned it, I did try. Like, I'll be like, okay, I have something to say, but how can I word it in a way that is um more tact? So, like, okay, I don't like this, but I don't know. I'm glad that you like it,
yeah.
or I don't know. I have actually actively taken that on board and tried to say the same thing, like, because I am opinionated and I am the kind of person that just wants to. Uh, I don't know. I am opinionated and it's just the way I am.
Would you
But I
just
realize there's a different way of saying things.
would you say that you just don't have time to try and you know sugarcoat it? Would you say you're blunt?
I would say I'm blunt,
She's very blunt. She's very honest and blunt, and
but
sometimes it hurts, but it's true.
it's like I'm not in doing it to be hurtful. I just
It's just
sometimes I
how
just
you are, and it's what you believe in.
sometimes I just need someone to point out the way that I've said something could have been said. You know, if I realize I've hurt someone's feelings, like then I feel like, oh shit, that's never how I intended that. Just maybe I was being a bit blunt because I was tired or I was having a bad day, and I just didn't think to put something more, a little bit more fluffy and cushioning in it. Like sometimes I just am a bit blunt or a bit too honest or a bit too opinionated, and I don't realize the way I'm saying it can make someone feel bad. Like, I'm quite self aware and empathetic, but sometimes I can be really just completely unaware of how something I've done has made someone feel. It's kind of weird because, like, I'm usually mostly pretty understanding, pretty open, and I can see from other people's perspective how something somebody else said might hurt them, but sometimes I can be a bit blind to my own actions, and
But
it takes someone to point
from
it
my
out.
perspective, I feel like if I try to call, if me, not even me, just Justy or someone try to call you on that, you would get really defensive on it.
Not at all, because when Justy said, like, I don't know, like, I don't. We had a conversation about it. I can't
I'm
remember
sorry. I feel like
exactly.
I don't want to feel like I'm trying to like attack you or anything.
I mean, maybe a little bit, but it's okay. Hang on. Mm. Anyway, sorry about that. Basically, like, sometimes it takes someone to point something out, but in a nice way, because I can get defensive. But if you just point it out, like, oh, hey, that kind of sucked, that kind of hurt my feelings a little bit,
I agree with
then
that.
I'm
You know what?
then
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
sorry, then I try to rectify that and be like, I'm really sorry. I never meant that. I'm sorry it come across that way, and I try to approach it differently going forward.
I agree with that completely. Like, I've been in that situation before, and you really just you don't understand. Like, maybe people will start to distance themselves from you, or they'll like be more snide and rude to you, and you just don't understand why. But then they finally explode on you, and they're like, "Well, this is what I've had a problem with this whole time," And the thing
Can you
is,
tell a personal experience about that? I want to
yeah,
hear.
I could tell you about that. Basically, I had a group of people. I don't know if I can still say the F word. The
You could say
FRIE.
any word you want. Name their names.
Anyways, I was in a group on Discord. It was basically the first one I had when I was coming on here, but a whole lot of drama started. But I was being an absolute ass, and I couldn't see it because I was in my own headspace and stuff like that. And I was, I kind of did what Charlie did. I was very blunt about stuff, or I would be kind of negative towards it, because that's just how I felt about it. And it wasn't really supposed to hurt people, but that's how it
You were
came
just
out
saying your
as.
honest opinion.
Yeah. And the thing is that I completely understand with Charlie because no one told me. How was I ever supposed to correct this behavior that no one liked and no one was like, man, you're kind of being an asshole about this,
Mm.
Can you name these individuals?
I mean, I could.
I don't think it's necessary to do that. It's not
Yeah, but
relevant to
that's
the story.
fun.
Not relevant to the story. I think the point is that sometimes you can you repeat a certain behavior and you don't know it's a problem because nobody communicates with you that it's a problem, and sometimes it takes an argument or like a heated something for someone to say, hey, you really upset me. And it's like, well, if you said that, like, 3 days ago, 3 weeks ago, 3 years ago, I could have been like, shit, sorry, and rectified that behavior. And if I don't rectify that behavior, then
I will
then
say
it's on
though,
me. And I'm Hmm?
we're both. I will say we do have an issue, both of us though, Charlie, with that. I think it's very hard to approach us about those kind of things.
Mm.
I think for a lot of the time we will become defensive or be you know we'll try and be like, no, that's not possible, there's no way I could have been like that, but
Mm.
I think that's the issue with how why people don't approach us on, you know well, your attitude has been a bit shitty lately, it's because I think sometimes we can be a little too defensive because it feels like an attack out of nowhere. We get
Yeah,
very
yeah.
defended about it because it's like, where the fuck did this come from? Because we don't see anything wrong with that behavior, and
Yeah, because like I get what you're saying about me being blunt, but Ben saying that I'm blunt, that kind of takes me back and kind of like hurts me and feels a little bit like an attack. Not from you, but from Ben, because Ben's never, but as far as I'm aware, you've never like told me anything like that, that I'm too blunt or I'm too this. So I'm like, that's kind of like hurting me a little bit because I'm like, well, why didn't you just freaking tell me that? Like, why tell me now when it's.
yeah, exactly, and that's exactly what I mean is that, like, you know the fact that he's all like, oh well, you're blunt about stuff, it's like you get taken back by it. You're like, wait, what? Is this how it
Yeah.
was the whole time? It's kind of hard to describe why that's an issue for us, though. Like, why is it so hard to just take that in and be like, oh, well, oh, I didn't know. I apologize for that. I'll work on that. I don't know what
I think
makes it like
sometimes
that.
we modify our behavior according to people. So if people say, "Hey, I'm not happy with that," so you try to change your behavior in some ways. Like with you, I've tried to be a bit more softer when I'm opinionated about something.
Yeah,
But like with Ben's never really called me out and said, "Hey, that's kind of shitty." So like I just can almost continue just being essentially myself, and if he never goes, hey, I have a problem with this, then I'll just carry on because I'm none the wiser. I feel like we modify ourselves depending on who we speak to, and things like that, but like that comes from communication as well. Until someone raises an issue, it's very hard for you to realize that it's a problem, I think. And I think that goes for anyone, really. If
yeah,
no one ever like says, hey, I don't like it when you do this, then they don't necessarily know that there's an issue to
yeah.
correct.
That's absolutely the number one thing. Like, I've had to, like, I don't know what it is about me, but a lot of people come to me with their issues, both in like when it comes to friendships or relationships or something like that. I don't know. A lot
Mm.
of people come to me, and the number one thing that I notice is that it's just communication. It's just people not talking and being real with each other. You know, you don't have to be brutal about it and be like, "I'm fucking unhappy. I hate you," you know, or something like that. But
I
you
don't think you should ever get to that point, though. I think you should have communicated well before you get to that point.
yeah,
But
What if you're at that point where you feel like you can't communicate to that person with something because you kind of know what their reaction would be, so
then
you
so
kind of
I
just
think
have
you
to
should
hold
give
back,
them the opportunity. I think you should give them the opportunity.
even if you know the outcome would absolutely be just the worst thing ever.
you feel like there's no possible way to, like, there's no certain combination of words or a different kind of approach that could uh kind of mitigate that or kind of not activate that defense from that person, or do you think it would just be automatic in any possible way?
I personally think you tailor it to the person you're speaking to. So if it's someone who could be like very defensive, just cushion it with as many as like, I don't know. Hey, you're awesome, but a couple of times you've done this and this and this, and I find that a little bit
But
hurtful.
that sounds like pandering when you say it like that.
Yeah, but sometimes that's what you need to do. If you're going in expecting a reaction because you're just, I don't know, going in without any cushioning, then it depends. It really depends on the person, but
It very
sometimes
much does.
you have to pander to that person in order to seek the outcome that you want.
I
I
think
think.
I feel like I don't know. The best thing you can do is use I statements, which, you know, if anyone out there is listening and they don't know what an I statement is,
I don't.
basically, oh, well then I'll teach you, Ben. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, instead of being like, you're causing me so much stress in my life. You don't know how to talk to me. You make me feel bad. You know, you say something more of like, I don't feel appreciated when you do this. Or I feel like I'm the problem and that you're doing this to me because of that.
Oh yeah, no, I think I've been doing that since day one.
Yeah. But I I was gonna say, I think you kind of gotta do that, but another issue is that I don't think you can just kind of soften a whole lot of stuff. Like, say you're unhappy in a relationship and you're like, well, how do I bring this up with someone? How would you soften something like, I'm unhappy in this relationship or something like that? I don't think you can
Mhm.
really. It's just gonna hit the same way in any case. It doesn't matter if you try and be like, well, there's, you know, like, how do you even communicate that in a soft way, you know?
I
I
am
like
gonna
how
be.
you're doing the advice thing, but I don't know.
I am getting a little bit paranoid, Ben, that I am doing something that's upsetting you, and you've just avoided telling me.
Doing something wrong. Let me look at my list.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm looking at my list. Nope, nothing wrong.
Okay. It just sounded like you were talking from experience, and it felt kind of related to me.
Maybe it's more of like, maybe you're taking the whole him saying that you're blunt thing and kind of deriving and being like, well, since he since he's just brought that to me, maybe all this other stuff he's bibble babbling about is also something I should be concerned
Yeah,
about, which makes
that's
sense, you know?
exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, you've done nothing wrong whatsoever. I have
Yeah.
no reason to worry about nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a happy little boy.
Yeah.
Well, just aren't you meant to be streaming Sly Cooper?
It's so true. Do you guys want to wrap up this episode? You guys want to say
I don't
anything
know.
before you
Yeah, I think
finish it?
I think it's been a good episode. It covered a very wide variety of topics. It's had some giggles in the beginning, me being a serial killer.
Yeah.
And we've had some more, serious topics, and then maybe some more like sci-fi topics like aliens, and then some kind of personal topics at the end, you know? I think it's been a really good balance. Really good
Charlie,
balance.
you're a
Hmm?
psychologist. Would you rate this a pretty good in-depth examination? Maybe not the most in-depth, but we did go from
Oh, he
kind
can
of
go in. I mean, sorry, she can. Charlie can go in depth with you if you really wanted to.
well, no, I'm just saying, like,
She
was
could pick
was
your
it a good
brain and be like,
was it a
"Hey,
good
"What's wrong?"
transition? We went from like surface level topics of food and aliens, and then we went to like more personal opinions of how society is with cannibals and pedophiles and stuff like that. And then we went even more in depth to personal opinions and how we communicate to each other. Do you think that was a good transition as a psychologist? You know?
Yeah, but I do think a lot of what we discussed is quite general. I don't think it necessarily is a deep dive, particularly into someone's psyche. It's just more
That
like,
is true.
you know, it's just like how they think and see the world a little bit. There's nothing like,
It's not.
so
Yeah, it's
you want to
nothing.
describe why you have a poor relationship with your mother. It's not like a therapy session. It's just
Yeah.
like it's a good idea to get well, it's a good way to get a grasp of who a person is at a surface level,
Would you
I think.
say it's a good start to uh later in depth episodes?
Part
Like,
two.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely, definitely. I, it's the you just take kind of like broad topics and debate them, and I think eventually that could lead into more. Yeah. Oh, so as we discussed last time, let's go a little bit further into that. Like, yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's a good way to start off kind of easy, and then you can go deeper, deeper, deeper.
because
How
you,
comfortable people would be in a recorded circumstance, I don't know,
yeah,
but
because it's always like you have to build rapport with your, you know, the
with your
people you're in.
clients.
Yeah, with your clients. All my
I
clients.
guess. I guess Charlie's your therapist now.
No,
Oh,
I guess we owe
I'm
Justy
her
$50.
therapist. I'm gonna tear you guys apart.
And then who's my therapist?
I'm also your therapist. I'm everyone's therapist,
Okay,
baby.
Doctor Justy, Doctor Justy.
Dr. Justin. Okay, is there
Do you have an
anything
autism attack?
Is there anything else you both want to say? Do you guys have platforms you want to be linked to? You know, is there anything you want to
Subscribe to
say?
Benkilla on YouTube. Subscribe to Benkilla on Twitch.
Yeah,
Follow me on
yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
There you
Yeah,
go.
subscribe or follow to Sangheilianima. Follow me on Instagram. Like all my pictures. Ha ha ha. No, I don't know. Do
Oh,
you want? I've probably shown a bit of a crazy side, so I won't be offended.
you're gonna have a fucking psycho following.
All right, I'm gonna say the N word now.
All right.
No.
Okay, I gotta end this. Oh shit.